And I want to get to what we saw from the Lakers last night, where they lose 125-110. And, you know, you look down at the box score. It's not really indicative of how the game went, but LeBron had a triple-double with 28 points. D'Angelo Russell, 28 points. You're like, man, D'Angelo Russell had 28, LeBron had 28. How'd they lose? Well, you continue to get a struggle from Austin Reeves, who did have 11 rebounds and 8 assists, but didn't make a three, only 9 points coming off the bench. And then Anthony Davis is 3 of 9, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 5 turnovers. But it's more than that. It's not just the stats. If you watched Anthony Davis last night, you're like, one of 3 things, okay? He's either throwing the game, drunk, or high. I don't know. That's really what he looked like. Now, I don't think he was drunk. I don't think he was high, and I don't think he was throwing the game. But considering how good a basketball player Anthony Davis is, holy crap, was he bad last night? And you can write it down as, oh, well, write it off as, well, you know, it's back-to-back nights, and he just had a bad night. But, man, he looked bad. Right? And I guess, and after the game, he's like, he didn't make any excuses on injury. He's just like, I was just bad.
Just played bad. I'm not going to put it on anything, or they were just missed shots. Just play like night, to be honest. Just that simple.
I mean, that's crazy, right? I mean, I guess it's understandable. Like, everyone's a human being. Everybody has a bad night, bad day, whatever. Like, who hasn't had a bad day at work? But, man, like, he couldn't catch the ball. He couldn't dribble the ball. He was out of rhythm. So, I want you guys to be honest. And keep in mind, I used to do sports radio at a place a while back that they were like, you can't speculate. Like, okay, but that's, again, I'm not saying this is a report. I'm telling you I'm like speculating. I think we all had the same speculation. Didn't it look like he went out and pulled an all-nighter? Jay, did you watch it all?
So I remember dropping in for, I think it was the second half, and I think it was a good 15-point deficit. Lakers hit 3 straight threes, and then the Kings hit a 3, and then I turned it off. So no. And then I caught the highlights this morning. And I always love this part of highlight shows. They took every shot Anthony Davis missed, and they put it in the highlight. I always think that's so unfair. So I always think that's kind of dirty. But anyways, no.
I don't think they did him dirty. Like, Jason and I watched the game, and that was the story of the game. The story of the game was like, what's the matter with Anthony Davis? So, again, like, I don't think he wasn't drunk. He wasn't high. He wasn't on medication, right? But it looked like he went out all night, because that's the only explanation I can make for a guy who's won an NBA championship, won an NCAA championship, been a stud in both of those runs, and suddenly looked like he forgot how to play basketball. There was a portion of the game, there were some plays that he made that looked like, do you remember Space Jam, when Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing and Muggsy Bogues and Sean Bradley and Larry Johnson lost their powers? Do you guys remember that? That's what Anthony Davis looked like. So maybe that's the only other explanation. Okay, so list of possible explanations for last night. Drunk, high, throwing the game, or touched a basketball that magically took away his powers and gave it to Marvin the Martian and the aliens. Do we have any other possible explanations? Oh, can't play on back-to-backs. That's the other, right? You know, like, they're honestly, like, if you're Anthony Davis and you really wanted to try and pull rank, you'd go like, that's why I shouldn't play on back-to-backs. I suck on back-to-backs. I'm just not a back-to-back guy. Maybe that's what it was. It was a personal protest. I don't want to play back-to-backs. You have to play on back-to-backs tonight. Fine. This is how I play on back-to-backs.
Back-to-backs with in-season tournament games.
Yeah.
I thought that was and I'm not saying that this is the reason for Anthony Davis, again, I was watching people look for hidden immunity idols for 90 minutes.
It's a 90-minute show?
Yeah, they've extended it to 90 minutes this season. The point being is when you have an in-season tournament and then you have these games that are supposed to mean more and you have back-to-back games with one of those supposed to be the in-season tournament, you're making these games, like last night, mean even less than they would in previous seasons of the regular season because now it's up against a game that you are supposed to care about the night before.
It's a great point. That's a really good point. I hadn't actually thought about it that way, that it matters less. Right? It's a little bit like, and tell me if this analogy works for you. People always say like, well, Pete Rose, he only gambled on his team to win. Well, yeah, when he didn't bet on his team, that told whoever he was placing bets with that he thought they were going to lose.
Yep.
Does that analogy work at all?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, good.
Exactly.
Okay, because sometimes things work out in my head that don't work out like in reality. I totally understand that. I can't get over how bad he was. And we've all had you play long enough, you have a game like that, just you kind of think at that level of basketball, you don't. And as bad as he was on offense, like Sabonis took it to him on defense too. He just slaughtered him. Stunning. So bad that you have these talk shows today are like, do you trade Anthony Davis? You're not trading Anthony Davis. You're just not. You move the moon, the stars, and the sun for him. You won an NBA championship with him. And you don't have, yes, could you get a bunch back in return? But you're not going to win a championship with anything you get back in return. You have to have size, rim protection, versatility of that size in order to win the NBA championship because you have to go through the Denver Nuggets. They go 6'10", 7 foot across the front line.